Hello, this is going to be my attached video. I will be looking on the side because I do have some guided notes and questions that I want to include. So yes, I actually really enjoyed the book. I bought the physical copy and I also had the Kindle version because I like to have physical copies of books that I read. And while I didn't really delve into the physical copy that much because I was on the go a lot, I did enjoy the Kindle version. I've never read Baldwin before. I have Notes of a Native Son, but I have not gotten to read it, unfortunately. I know that I've seen videos and I know that he's a very deep thinker, so I knew coming into this book that it would be very impactful. I watched the film. The film was okay. I mean, I really liked it. I definitely have a deeper understanding of it now since we've gone through the book. I find it really amazing that him as a man, not to focus on gender, but I do feel like him as a man being able to dive into a woman's perspective and do it so accurately was done very well. The section specifically when Tish was talking about the officer's eyes, that was probably one of the most, it required a lot of thinking is what I will say. I reread it a couple times. I was pretty lost. I did have to Google some parts of it because it was done so well, yet it was done so well almost that it was impossible to read, and that is the poetic nature of the book. Overall, I feel like it is an important read. I feel that the idea of race and love and how Black love looks sometimes, unfortunately, we have to sacrifice, and it has to be, there is struggles. There are hurdles that other races don't have, meaning that our love is going to look different. I guess one critique I could give would be, I don't really have many critiques. I don't have many critiques. I do feel like the plot itself does not move forward much. It's not a lot of plot sequences, but this is not a book that was meant to do so. I love that each character contributes to the story in their own unique way. One of my favorite character decisions had to have been like Mrs. Hunt and her daughters in comparison to the Rivers family, because they are two completely different people, and to see that they were uninvolved in Fonny's journey it's amazing in a way where it's not a good thing, but it is something that happens there. I found Mrs. Hunt to be a very complex character, and even though she does not make many appearances throughout the book, she is, I feel like the niche of woman that she is very realistic. I feel not a lot of women, but there are people in general out there that do feel like they must rely on religion to cope with the difficulties that we face as Black people. And I feel that her using that and holding on to that without actively working towards Fonny's freedom was not helpful at all. And she, to her extent, to her knowledge, thought just saying like, I'm gonna pray for him, my son will be fine because of the Lord, was enough, but necessarily it wasn't. And that's just something to think about. The way the sisters were in comparison to Tish and Ernestine, and I'm sorry, I'm butchering the word, but Tish and her sister compared to I forgot their names, I'm sorry, Fonny's sisters, completely different. It goes to show how like the structure of the household is different. The fact that Fonny's father, I completely forgot his name. Fonny's father, the way he treated Mrs. Hunt was not good. From what we've seen from the Rivers family, Joseph has never mistreated Sharon. So I also feel like that affects the way that the girls all grew up. I love that despite all issues that they face, that it somewhat seems to be a very positive story. It is rooted in love regardless of the circumstances and the actions of love. I feel Sharon made an ultimate sacrifice going to a country that was foreign to her with money that she doesn't have to try to clear Vonnie's name. And I feel that that is something, that's a great sacrifice. I just imagine me doing something like that, and especially if you don't speak Spanish, not knowing if anyone's gonna be able to translate things for you. Very difficult, very tough, but very necessary. And not every family would do that. Not every family feels that that would be necessary. I definitely plan to read more Baldwin. I read a little bit of Giovanni's Room, and I thought it was really good, but I guess I wasn't necessarily in the space to finish the book. There's times where I start books and don't feel that I'm ready to digest them properly, so I save them for future reads. I love that I was able to read this book in depth, and I feel like the way that we read the book encourages me to read other books deeper, to look at things more analytically and seeing the bigger picture, and doing so by asking questions, by thinking about what symbols mean and why things are written and what is the author's point, because the author is intentional about everything they put in the book. I honestly feel like I have a more structured concept of what love looks like, what Black love looks like, what it could look like, sacrifice, unity. I didn't really grow up in a family where unity was something that was super pushed. I don't feel like that's something I ever thought about, and I can see how for the Rivers family especially, that unity helped everyone to be able to function. And it's like every person adds a piece to the family, and it cannot run efficiently without everyone completing the roles. So yes, I believe the book itself was good. Pretty slow, I guess that's my only critique. Pretty slow, but it's something that you have to put your mind to and understand that what you're reading is supposed to kind of, it's like taking an abstract concept and putting it into physical form, almost. Even though words are not physical, even if they're on the page, I feel the story itself is trying to take an abstract idea that is hard to explain through just basic sentences and make it into a theme and make it understandable and digestible. And while this is not easily digestible, it is digestible if you read it slower. If you read it and you take your time and you take the chunks as we did and go through it. So yes, thank you for listening to my brief opinions on the book. And thank you for just introducing this to me in the way you did.